I know how to do it. You hit the thing and you go down to the volume and it shows two bars and whatnot. And I
Yeah,
just
and you
mess
change
with
them
it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the you do the
But
dang thing. Yeah.
I
That
did it wrong. I did it wrong.
that that yeah. Okay.
How do you cut in the background like you did at the end of your video with the Friday fuckery?
When you go to the little square thingy that tells you, like, the little film thing,
Mm-hmm.
you click on that, and if you scroll all the way down and you click the plus button, it'll pop up with a thing for you to choose a photo, and you can add a photo, or it'll show your little camera. You can record an additional video.
Oh,
That's how
okay.
I do like my splicings and stuff.
Oh, I have to look for that. Oh, I have to look for it.
Okay, now let's go ahead and get in here and mute this. Where's my mute?
And I
Okay, let's
have
turn.
two fuckery stories. They're both real short, but they're like fucked up. Like,
Awesome.
what? They did what?
Well, I think we can all agree that there is some fuckery in the absolute embrace that frickin' Erica Kirk gave to old JD, told John David.
Oh, I heard of it. I haven't seen it. I heard about
Had his
it though.
hands on her head. Listen, it wasn't even really the hug, and she stuck her hand all up in his hair and shit. It wasn't even the hug. Like, for me, watching it, the part that got to me was the way they looked at each other right before they went in. Just,
Oh,
it
that
looked like
little
they were about to
icon.
kiss.
Oh, man.
I was like,
I heard that like conspiracy the first day it came out, and I'm on board with it. There's definitely something there. I'm just saying, there's something.
listen, do you remember last week I called it. I've said it in other lives. I've called it. Do you remember the phone call I called it? I said Usha and JD are going to be no more,
Yep,
and Kirk and JD are getting together.
I remember.
I fucking
I
called it
remember.
weeks ago. Weeks ago.
I got the background in there, but it's not. I can see it, but it's not showing up there.
Because you got to turn your camera on, your camera's off.
Okay. Doot, 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 doot.
There you go.
There you
Okay,
are.
cool. You can't see it because the camera is in actually the back of my display, so you won't
No,
see
we're
anything.
good with it. I know you don't like to be on camera, so we're good with it. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
I'm not going to make you be on camera. We got like 10 minutes before we official. I'll go live on TikTok here in about 10 minutes. Um, Doc, I really need to know how you felt about that embrace, that
Yeah,
almost snuggle.
I think somebody wrote. They said, "I waited longer for a hot pocket to cool than for
Right.
Eric to mourn."
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I saw somebody else opine that the reason JD Vance like took off and skipped out on all of that shit and stuff to rush to Erica's side is because they're, you know,
There's something there. There's
if they
something
haven't
there.
already, then they're going to.
That's my feeling.
The number of people who are all over TikTok like, Oosha, girl. And listen, I kind of agree with the ones who are like, girl, get your kids, go back to your home country, before they ship you back in a box. And my fear is this, because they're not wrong. Those children are of mixed race, which means that they don't fit into the MAGA narrative either.
Period.
So a Susan Smith situation, something, where a car accident happens, or like, listen, girl, pack your shit, go home to mommy and daddy.
Before they bury her under the new ballroom.
Right. And then claim she went home with the children.
Yeah. Not under the new ballroom.
Well, he fired the entire construction crew. I really need just one person who's already lined up a new job to come out and tell us what he was asking for that caused them to leave. That they said no and he said you're fired.
Oh.
What did he ask them to build below that ballroom?
Isn't there already a bunker and shit there?
There is, but it's really out of date. When was the last time they updated that dock? You would probably know. The Peoc.
I think well, it's been there since the Eisenhower administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they had to run new lines and shit at one point,
Yeah,
didn't
I don't
they?
know. I don't know.
It's certainly not up to date. Your little fake ass doobie.
It's crazy. I have to throw it away right away.
I'm slightly offended that you chose the hippie culture, and you chose to represent the hippie culture with marijuana.
Oh no, you know what? I didn't have anything else.
Fucking with you.
Uh,
Tough to do it with just LSD.
Yeah, besides that, the
I
hippies were
didn't have any
LSD.
on hand. Do you know where I can get
You could
some?
you could you could go cut up some little bitty paper tabs and draw something on them with like food coloring real quick. And during the middle of the broadcast, just
This is all one on my tongue.
and it would go well with your translucent appearance. You could be like, I feel like I'm invisible.
Mm.
That could you imagine your problem after doing shrooms or LSD?
And looking at this, I'd be freaked out.
Shit.
That would
I could
trip
only
me out.
imagine.
Oh my God.
That would be a bad freaking trip right there.
I think so. I think so. Shit. I had to get into a character, you know. I smooth dude before I came home.
That's
My
not
lips are
how we
dry.
talk. That's not how we talk. That's not it at all. That's not it at all.
Period. I don't know
Here,
how to talk
hard,
like a hippie.
hard, hard comment
Hard,
setting.
hard.
They do not get to comment. They do not get to comment during my live.
Oh yeah, I noticed
If
that.
they want to join the chat, they got to come over to the YT because I'm trying to bring them over to the freaking YT. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I was wondering that. I went in
Oh,
your chat the other day with Angry. Word.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
it. Good shit. It was a good show. Did a great job.
T minus 5 minutes, guys. We'll see if we get any. I mean, it's Halloween. I don't know what's gonna happen, but did you notice we're getting views on the rebroadcast?
Oh yeah? Oh good. I shared it to a couple people. Like my son
We're
and
getting
my
some likes and shit.
sisters and yeah.
Some likes and shit.
Good.
I feel like I need to finish my joint before we start, but I only have 5 minutes. That would have to be a Dave level inhale.
Have to take it
When
And
in
you
I would,
quick.
you mean Dave
I
the
would,
Viking?
yeah,
Yeah.
I would, I would piss myself coughing it back out. Like literally, I'm an old
Uh
woman now. I was talking to my friend Tiffany, and she goes, "I've begun leaking," and I was like, "Welcome to the club, bitch. Go buy some pantyhose. You're like a fucking sprinkler now. Welcome to the club." Okay. I'm gonna light this. I'm gonna hit it a couple times, then we're gonna get rolling. While it's just the two of us in the YT. Who says I can't sing? Just don't ask me to do it sober. Fuck.
Anyone with ears?
I liked it. I liked it.
Talk.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm more for barbershop quartet. I harmonize really well.
Oh, those are fun. I like watching
I
them.
always sang in choirs because the solos were just a little bit more difficult for me.
Ooh, choir. I didn't do that. I was a band galley. I played
I
the
sang
drum.
semi-professional in a choral society.
My sister,
Those for the
she was in the
days.
choir.
Okay, now I can't wear my hoodie because I gotta look like Joe, so I'm gonna have to get my little electric blanket and put it
Need
over.
a stain on your shirt.
I do not.
No, you need one.
Oh, I do. I need like a vomit stain.
Maybe
Mom's
some grease.
spaghetti.
Mom's spaghetti. I'm trying to look a little, like I just got zapped. you know, because I just
Mm.
picture his face when he got zapped going,
Ah, ah, Jesus Christ.
oh shit.
Oh my God.
Good times, good times, good times, good stuff.
I mean, it's tough to actually see that level of karma. You don't often get to experience that in life.
No, you don't. God looked at me and God was like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna do you a solid. You're about to go through some shit. You just don't know it yet." He was like, "Here, let me hook you up real quick, cause you gonna hate me in a minute." And to get to see it twice, Doc. We got to see it twice. We got to see it twice. Well, I guess we got to see it once and we got to see Vindication once. You don't get to see that very often either.
No.
We were vindicated. I was so stoked. Oh my God. Listen, when Semantics came out with that video, like he literally sent me a message. He didn't tell me anything. He just did the video, you know? And I was like, what? Because he tagged me in it. And I went and watched it. And I mean to tell you, it was with a quickness. I was all clickety clack, clack, clack on the keyboard. As soon as he said, well, it looks like the MCU has posted a new statement. I was like, damn, click, clack, clickety clack, spacebar. You know? All right, we are going live on TikTok in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Friday Phuckery, everybody. It is Halloween. I hope you all loaded up on candy. This week, we had to say goodbye to Erin for just a brief period of time. She was not able to make it tonight, but we do have our guest co host, Doc Hazard. He is here to discuss all things Joe. And everybody, take your guesses as to who I am. Wait, I have accessories. Let me show you the accessories. Where'd my bottle go? Okay, here we go. Here's my bottle. Here's my vape. If y'all can guess what I am, here's my trucker hat with my tuffet of dark hair. I don't have a beard. I tried to find a
You,
beard. I
your
couldn't get
dark
one.
hair that you totally don't die.
Right. Because my my beard that you can imagine is here, okay, doesn't tell how truly gray I'm going. Jess,
Hello, hello,
Jess,
hello. It's
what
good
are
to
we
see
tonight?
everybody. I'm a hippie. I am a pot smoking, chillaxing hippie of the 60s. That's what I am tonight. I have my rose colored glasses. I see the world through the rose colored glasses, and I'm just chilling over here. That's me
Excellent.
tonight.
I am Mike has put in a guess of Joe Redden, and he would be correct. Woo! That's right. I'm dressed as Joe, his Pinellas County era.
Hmm.
Um, Doc is the
Yeah.
Invisible Man. Amazing costume. I mean, you really committed.
Yep, I did.
I would love to know where you picked up that costume because I need to pick up one of my own.
It was a lab explosion.
Okay.
Erin
And
is dressed like a period. She's late. We love you, Erin. We can't wait until you come back next week.
Hi, everyone.
Hi
Anyone in the
everyone. Are we
chat?
ready for some Friday fuckery?
I'm
So
ready
we're
for.
gonna we're gonna let you go first, Jess, because we're gonna let you knock out your stories, and then Doc has joined us for my in the news, which is probably gonna take up the rest of the show.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So listen up, everyone. I found there is a man in Italy. A 70-year-old man got arrested and charged with fraud for faking blindness, total blindness for the last 53 years. It took them 2 months of investigation to figure out that he was indeed faking his blindness after watching him garden. He went shopping and he did a lot of walking around with no issues and no assistance. They even found him picking produce and things of that nature without any issue. So he collected $1.16 million
Oh my god.
over a 53-year period. I'm like, what kind of disability are they giving out in Italy?
And
I'm
why
just
the hell
saying,
did it take Italy so long?
facts.
53 years.
And but get this,
That dude must have been living in some little bitty town where you have to get there by a cart pulled by
I have no
goats.
idea, no idea. But he only is gonna have to be responsible for the last 5 years because of their laws.
Well, shit, that's still gonna break him with as
I
much as they're
yeah, oh
giving
yeah,
away.
he's 70. I don't know. They didn't say anything about jail time, but it's coming. It's coming. It has to be. It has
I
to
hope
be.
his family doesn't expect to get that cottage in the woods whenever he goes.
Oh no,
I'm
they're
just
all
saying,
set.
I'm thinking that the government's gonna take that one.
I'm just saying that that's a level of commitment to be, faking blindness. Well, he didn't do it that well. He got caught, but
Well, I mean,
53
what
years.
kind of commitment is there? I feel like maybe it's a situation. Hey, Michael Pruitt, happy Friday. I feel like maybe it's a situation where he only has to check in with the court like once every so often. He had to have a doctor in his pocket or
That's what I
something.
was thinking. And like the doctor,
53
somebody was
years.
helping. Yes, yes.
Or maybe he just closed his eyes.
He could have he could have been wearing those glasses that block everything out for the people that get like the cataract surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That's something. 53. Well, I mean, shoot, like what can they do to him? He's 70. They
I
even
don't
put him
know.
in
Yeah,
jail.
he
At
looked
least he
like
knows somebody will find him when he goes.
yeah, like he pretty much got away with it in my eyes. That's crazy.
They pay for
Um,
his life for basically his entire life.
mm-hmm.
Dang.
That's a long time.
I feel
That's
like
a
I need to
lot of
move to
money.
Italy.
$1.16 million. Like,
I mean, I take these things off. I technically am blind. Have you not seen how big they make my eyes?
I wonder what your prescription is.
I'm legally blind in my left eye,
Okay.
and I'm overcorrected in my right eye. So like stuff is
Oh.
too sharp with my right eye. That's why like if I take my glasses off, I can't see you, but if you can see how much thicker one lens is than the other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, good
Uh,
stuff. Good stuff. Um,
awesome.
what else you got for us, Jess?
Oh, yeah. So here in Florida,
Go figure.
in Clay County, Florida, which isn't too far from me, a disabled veteran and his wife are being sued by their HOA. For the past 11 years, they have been trying to get permission to expand their driveway for a specialized van because he has multiple sclerosis, and they've been
Uh-huh.
ignoring him. They're like not responding or whatever. So they went ahead and did the driveway, and now they're getting sued for failure to get approval first. That's bullshit. Like
Yeah,
how do you
Okay,
own a
first of
home
all,
and you have to ask permission to make it um a better place for you to live as someone
well,
who
so
is
HOAs
disabled?
are supposed to make your community like cookie cutter, right? Like it's supposed to be uniform. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, and this is my specialty. Guys, they can't do that under the ADA. They can't do You own the property. You own the property. I have a feeling that whatever attorney those people hire, his next step is going to be to sue the HOA for violations of the ADA.
I hope so.
That would
I hope
be.
so. Because I mean, I'm like, how do you own a home and you can't even accommodate yourself? Like, well, I couldn't say that. I'm sorry.
Well, that
Um,
takes me back to like 5, 6, maybe 10 years ago. There was a big story in the news, a case of a church had built a ramp for a woman in a wheelchair. Like all she
mhm,
had was stairs, right? They had to carry
yeah.
her up the stairs and then or like try to turn her around and like pull her up the stairs. And
Mm-hmm.
so a church, completely voluntary. They paid for all the materials, like the church donated everything, right? And the labor. Came out and built a very, very nice ramp for her. A nice wide one, more than accommodating for, the wheelchair and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The HOA came in and ordered them to remove it. And when they didn't remove it in 48 hours, the HOA came and tore it down, leaving her with
Ah.
no way to get out of her front door at all.
Oh no.
Because when they did it, they built a little deck and expanded it out, right? And so the
Mm-hmm.
stairs were moved out. So when they came and tore it down, they just fucking leveled the thing.
Oh wow. That's
I was
terrible.
like, lawyer, immediately.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
what ended up
Okay,
happening?
huh?
What ended up happening with that?
Oh, I think they ended up suing the HOA and got permission to put another one in, and the HOA had to pay for it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the court was like, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking here. Um, okay, so my two, we're gonna start out with, we were discussing it before we went live, the hug, the
Oh,
embrace, the caressing of the back of the head.
I wish I saw it now. I've heard about
Did
it.
you
I've
see
heard
her
so
face
many.
in the audience? That girl was hot. She was,
Oh wow.
I would have, not me. They would have been holding me back from going backstage. I would have been snatching those extensions right out of her hair. Like, who the Listen, and I said it before we started. Yeah, the hug the hug. But
Mm-hmm.
the look they exchanged right before they hugged. I honestly thought in those brief moments that they were going in for a tongue
Mm.
boxing like like
Not the
like
whole
it
time.
looked like they were listen, I have seen couples on their wedding day look less in love in that moment.
Oh wow. Okay, I definitely have to go see it. I have to watch it.
And need I remind people, her husband has been gone for 7 weeks.
it feels like yesterday because people won't shut up about it.
That's true. You're
Fair.
right about that.
I mean, I don't know. If my spouse were to go, I don't think I would be parading around, even if I had the body for it, in black pleather pants.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
It's it's a bit it's listen, Usha girl, if you happen to see this, which you probably won't, but if you happen to see this, my friend, please take your children and go somewhere.
Run.
Go to your go to your parents' house. Go to visit distant relatives in some other place. Take your children with you, please. This is
What she
not
said.
looking good. And we already know that one of the people in this thruple has a history of violent terminations.
Yeah.
Which one?
At
Um,
least. At least
I'm talking
one.
about spousal terminations.
Oh,
Um,
one
Straight
is a
to the
Black
neck.
Widow.
Yeah, straight to the
I
neck.
literally, I literally saw that embrace, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, if I hug somebody that I'm not, with, right? It's usually like a side hug, you know. I would have pictured them coming out and like putting their hands around each other's waists with the other hand, like waving at people,
Hmm.
pointing at people, pointing up to God, pointing down to where Charlie is, whatever. Um,
Not down.
what on God's green earth, girlfriend? Listen, the way you
And she
said,
didn't do anything?
listen,
Usha
she at
didn't do
one point,
anything?
no, Usha didn't do shit. At one
Wow.
point, while Kirk was talking, she was like, she goes, she goes, my dear close friend, Vice President JD Vance. And she was just, friend
Ooh.
JD Vance. And then she goes, and his wife.
Nuh-uh. That's a snub.
Girl,
That's
that's
a,
not even
no,
bad acting, okay? That
that's
is side piece wanting to make sure you know that she's doing what she's doing.
she's coming in. She's coming in their territory.
I
She's
Listen,
bet
about
I bet JD saw her in the the pleather pants and thought, finally, a couch I can anyway.
oh no.
that one fights back.
Excuse me.
If this bitch comes out in jacquarded, upholstered pants, I'm gonna be fucking done.
Why is she dressed like a lazy boy?
Oh, ooh. Not a lazy boy. That was a good one. Oh my God.
Not the ottoman. Oh my god. Mm. Not the Versa recliner. Oh shit. All right, let's move on to my story number two.
Holy shit.
As you all remember, Doc and I were enthralled in a very interesting investigation that involves Joseph Redden, aka the older millennial. And in that quest, essentially, let's set a scene for you guys, for those who don't know. Joe is well known on the internet, on TikTok as a streamer. He, commonly has half a million to a million followers. He came out, when was it? Like March or April of last year, Doc, is that
Maybe
right?
January is when he did the first video, January 2024. That's when he
Okay.
did the first one.
So in January 2024, he came out talking about wanting to create a middle class hedge fund. In other words, to allow those who don't normally get to invest in large scale opportunities the opportunity to create generational wealth.
Hmm.
Their premise behind the Middle Class United Cooperative Inc., which is what they named it, was that they were going to create an avenue for the average middle to lower class income person to be able to experience the joys of home ownership. And by investing, you would also have the opportunity to receive dividends. Now, he originally started out saying that it was going to be a hedge fund, and then he discovered that he couldn't do it as a hedge fund. That's right, because if he tried to do it as a hedge fund, then there were going to be restrictions on the type of accredited investors that he could bring in, thus eliminating his target audience, which would be the mid to upper lower class people to the lower to mid class people, middle class people. And so instead, he decided to change it to a cooperative. He sold the memberships under the guise that in the cooperative, everybody would have an equal say. What he didn't realize is that by offering dividends, he was selling securities. Well, wouldn't you know it, this little venture of his got publicized pretty heavily. He did a little pre solicitation on it because he didn't actually incorporate in the state of Maryland until May
April.
of
Sorry,
2020, April of 2024.
April
Uh,
1st, which was
April
even
for
more
ha ha ha
poetic.
ha 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 ha.
yeah, April
That is quite
Fools.
poetic.
Yeah.
No, when
Um,
he, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
So what he did was he was claiming, he said, we're going to do a middle class hedge fund, but we're going to change it to a middle class cooperative for the very same reason you said, you accredited investors. And this was a way to circumvent this, which is really not something you want to say out loud when you do that. So he said, we're starting a middle class cooperative. We've been talking to investment lawyers and bankers, and we have 40,000 shares. Now, the first question you should ask yourself is 40,000 shares of what? But again,
Right,
this
because
was
it's a
in,
cooperative.
yeah, exactly. And it was it, they had 40,000 shares, but they would not incorporate for another month and a half on April 1st. So how can you have 40,000 shares before you've actually incorporated? That was the big question for me. That was
How do
that
you
just
how,
left me a
how do you
bummed
know
out.
how many shares you're going to have? See, what he should have said is we're going to start with an opening offer of 40,000 shares, but that would make the assumption that it was being traded on the open market. They established it as a cooperative. Now, for those who don't know, oh wait, what's this? Don't forget he claims that he didn't invent it. What? When did he do that?
We can claim it all he wants. We we have the evidence that otherwise.
Right, exactly. So they filed in April and they began publicizing what they were doing. They opened a website and they started publicizing how many people were joining. Ultimately, in the beginning, they ended up in a Yahoo Finance article, which they may have bought their way in or they may have genuinely been asked by a reporter. We don't know. Um, Advertising that they had already raised $3 million. Well, they ultimately only raised 3.2, almost $3.3 million
Mm.
over the course of a little bit over 6,500 investors. Well, Doc and I came along. Doc had been looking into it separately, and I had been looking into it separately, and we were both kind of working on the same investigation but in different sections. And so it just so happened that a mutual of ours, Sarah Smiles, sent me Doc's video. And I watched it and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, hey, doing the same thing. And so I reached out to Doc because he and I had been mutual. Well, I had followed him. We didn't become mutuals until this, but I had followed him for a while, right? I had
Mm-hmm.
seen some of his stuff, and he hooked me with the crunchy white pimp forever.
Me too. Me too.
That that was the tagline of the century for me, and I was like, I gotta follow this dude.
I agree.
Um, and so I shot him a message, and I was like, hey. I'm a follower, love your work, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at the same thing. And here is what I have found. Would you like to have a conversation? And
Now,
so,
let me can I interrupt for a second? This is where she
yes.
pointed out that I was digging in the wrong place. It makes me think of Indiana Jones. Belloq's digging in the wrong place because I was looking at his Sunshare that's on his LinkedIn page company that he had formed. I think that's been dissolved as well too because that was supposed to be in
I
September.
think it
Anyways,
probably got administratively dissolved bully
yeah.
for Emily because he had promised to take her off of that and he never did.
Oh,
Mhm.
Emily is Joe's ex.
Damn.
Yes. That's the beautiful the bombshell blonde. That's her. Yeah.
I don't know if I should have mentioned that or not, but whatever.
I think at this point I don't really care anymore at this point. Um so Doc and I started talking and thus began a beautiful partnership that I mean to say that it was a ride would be an understatement because I was doing research on all of the leadership. I had just started with Joe because my understanding was that it was his brainchild. So I was like, let's start with him, right?
Hmm.
And it was while I was doing research on Joe to do his story, which, mind you, I still to this day have never gotten to put that video out. The one that I did of him professionally, like I did with the others. Um, in the course of looking into his stuff, I got I got sent a video from a creator named Dombat where he was like, Joe has a warrant. And I had already pulled I had pulled the court records, but I hadn't started going through them yet. I had just done a general search, right? Like just to get an idea. Do you have bankruptcies? Do you have this? Do you have that? I found
Yeah.
plenty of stuff on him. I didn't publicize all of it because, unlike the popular opinion, I wasn't just trying to trash him. I was staying focused on my plight. Okay. I just, I was just humorous in the way I offered it, and y'all didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
Keep crying. And so I immediately, like, again, with a quickness, I was like, he has a warrant? What? And so
Got a
I went and
warrant.
looked it up and I confirmed it. And so I reached out to the sheriff's department to confirm the information, right? Like I was like, hey, I'm just calling to confirm a warrant. I just need to make sure that you guys have this active warrant, right? Like all of this time, they were like, "Oh, you made 400." Blah, 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 blah. I didn't make anywhere near that. Doc himself has seen the phone records. He can verify that.
Yep.
But I did
Not
make
even
daily
close.
calls. I did make daily calls to verify that the warrant was still active because if the warrant is no longer active, then I got to change up what I'm doing so that I don't get in trouble with the law, right? Like I
Yeah.
can't I lose some of those protections that Florida offers when what is that? The You mean the general consensus? Yes, I said that. Or wait, what? Hey, Gambit! Look at you! Welcome, welcome.
Hi,
Um,
Gambit.
and so like I was like, "Oh, okay, so let me use this as a vehicle to try and get some information out of him." Now, where people got truly pissed off is the way I presented it, okay? Because I had already done a video asking questions about the MCU,
Mm,
right? Before that video came out. It wasn't getting a lot of traction, but it had been seen by him, because he had responded very briefly to it, right? Where
okay.
he basically said I was stupid. Don't call me stupid when I'm smarter than you, bro. Just don't
That
do it
part.
because then I'm going to prove to you that I'm smarter than you.
Yep.
And I did repeatedly, you know? And so
Greatly.
greatly. Exactly. Bigly.
That
Okay, brother,
bigly.
bigly. Um, and so I made the Joe video and I was a little bit snarky in it. I won't deny that. I was definitely feeling my petty pants. And so I was like, "Hey, Joe."
Probably rightfully so, though. I mean, it's Joe.
I mean, it's Joe, right? And he and I had already gone back and forth before, and I was kind enough to leave it alone. He
Hmm.
should have left me alone. He should have just completely left it alone. He should have never given me a reason to start looking into it because he probably could have gotten away with it for a while, you know?
Yeah,
Um, I mean, Doc was looking into it, but shit, that's just because he pissed off Doc too. I guess the lesson of the day, kids, is don't piss off people on the internet who are going to start looking into your scammy shit.
that
That's
part.
why,
We have a
you know
lot of
what?
time on our
Listen,
hands.
right. That's why I don't beg for money online. I don't do those things because, I don't get my name attached to things because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and give people a reason to look into whether or not I'm doing legit stuff with the money I'm making.
Exactly.
I run my Etsy. I send you a product. Okay, for your money, I send you a product. I provide a service or I send you a product. Those are the two things you get. You could call my tarot readings a scam, but I have more than enough clients who would tell you that I'm spot on when I do their readings. So I don't know if you can really, I don't know if a court would hang with you on that accusation. You know what I'm
I could
saying?
get one. I'm
I will.
trying to
Yes,
sign up for
I give
one.
them for free. I give them for free to my friends.
Oh,
Become my
exciting.
friend and you'll get one for free too. Um, or you can start tuning in starting in, I think I'm going to go ahead and start it back up in November, but don't quote me on that right now for Tuesday Tarot.
Ooh, I
Tuesday
support that.
Tarot.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think you
so
should.
I've squirreled. Let's get back. Ooh, I just knocked my other mic. Let's get back on track. Okay, so I used the warrant to make that video because if anybody had bothered to watch the video all the way to the end, I asked questions about the MCU. Joe, why are you running from this warrant? Is it because you're worried that whenever they get you in jail, they're going to ask questions about the MCU? Because I would. If I was working at
Now,
that police department, I would ask questions.
when you were talking, when we were talking to Dombat, he was talking about leaving the country, and wasn't this when he first sell his one hundred and
Yeah,
forty
when
thousand
he
dollar
put
trailer?
so he put his house, he put his trailer up for sale in in May, I think.
Oh, there's one other thing we got to talk about this. Now, at this time, Joe had been kicked out of the MCU. Now, okay, kicked out might
But
not
we
be the
didn't
right
know that
word.
yet. We didn't know
Yeah,
that
but
yet.
we didn't know this yet. But he's doing all this, behaving very much like that he is the spokesman of the
See,
MCU,
and
and
I
he hasn't
still, you
been.
know what? Listen, I still stand behind my original statement. I think, quite honestly, I don't think he was ever kicked out of the MCU. I think that the infinite wisdom, I say that loosely and graciously, of the
Hmm.
people who were still running the MCU put that statement out. And these are just my thoughts, it's not fact. I think they put that statement out to take the heat off of them because of everything that was going on with Joe. Because once Joe went to jail, people started paying attention to some of the other videos about the MCU and started making questions and started talking about, is this a scam? Turns out it was.
That could be.
But
So,
yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'm with him.
so then Joe's backdrop suddenly changed. And I wasn't even the first one to call the police and tell him that he was live broadcasting at that time from his house and had an active warrant. Like it wasn't even me. It wasn't even me. I wasn't even the first one. I wasn't even the reason the cops went out there. I was one of the people, but there was like five different people. Like, don't piss off people on the internet. There was like five different people that called it in because the warrant videos were making their rounds, right? And people were seeing him in his, telltale studio, right? And they were calling the cops and they were like, go get your boy, you know? And
That's
so,
insane.
right. And so the cops called me back too, because I guess I was the most recent one to call it in, right? And they were like, did you say you saw him? I said, he was live like 20 minutes ago. And that's whenever the guy called me back a second time and he was like, we heard somebody in there, but this is a misdemeanor warrant. We're not going to break down the door. And I was like, I mean, fair, fair. He's got to come to the door if you want to get him, right? But his mistake is he went on the run. If he hadn't gone on the run, if he had just hunkered down in his house every time, he probably could have stayed out long enough to get the money together to do something about his attorneys. I would love to know who paid for his attorneys because I don't think he did. I really don't. I really don't. That's just my
He
That's my
probably,
thoughts.
yeah, he probably didn't. I agree.
So so Joe's backdrop changes suddenly, right? And of course, I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
a detail oriented person. I was like, that doesn't look right.
Now, he
Because
also
he,
claimed that he was in a different room. When people questioned him about it,
right,
he said,
he
"Oh, I'm
claimed
in a
he was
different
in
room."
his, he claimed he was next to the door that led to his utility room and kitchen. Bro, what? Like, you have your whole ass house all over the internet with pictures inside of every single, no, wrong, you know? And so And so when he first went, the cops went and then he dipped, and just like there was nothing for several hours that he was posting. And I was checking. I'm not gonna lie, I was checking because if he didn't post anything, that means that they snagged him somewhere along the way, right? They have no obligation to call any of us back and let us know that they got him. And so it wasn't until the later that night that he posted, and he was just green screen, right? Like you couldn't see anything, right? He was just straight green
Okay.
screen. And he did like several videos that were just straight green screen, and I was like, your ass fucking left. You're on the run. You're on the run. And then he popped up with a video like at the end of the night where that with that door that was on like the rails and stuff, right? Like the
Yeah,
barn type door. And I was like, I knew it. You're on the freaking run. Instantly, I was like, let me start looking. He wouldn't go far from home because we know that. I even went through this with you, Doc. Remember, I was like, all right, let's focus on what we know about criminals. First of all, they're going to stay close to their comfort zone, so he's not going to go too far from home because he needs to be able to go back to home base, right?
yeah,
For
Yep.
clothes and things like that. I said he's either staying with friends or he's in an Airbnb because that is not a hotel room, right? And so the first thing I did was start looking up I
his
started
hat.
looking
Tell him about the
right.
hat.
Well, no, I started by looking up the houses of the other people on the board to see if maybe there was somebody near him that
Oh,
he would
yeah,
stay with, right? And I thought I had it on Jeffrey Jacobs, his new house, because there was a lot of pictures posted of the house that he bought on Zillow because I guess it had just been like in December had been done, so it had been listed recently. And I kept thinking that that's got to be it. That's got to be it. And then I got to like looking deep and I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. So that's whenever I went back and started paying attention to like his attire. And I noticed that he was wearing stuff that was branded for a local shop, right? It was like one of those Florida's full don't move here places. And so I went and looked. I was like, how many stores could they really have? And so I clickety click clack clacked. And I was like, they only have one, and it's in St. Petersburg, and that's within my epicenter. And so I called them, and it turned out I spoke to the owner. He was very kind. Go get stuff from them. I will find a way to post the link at some point. Um, he was very nice. And I said, I'm just trying to, there's a guy who's like got a warrant and I'm just trying to find him and see if I can kind of like track him down. I said, he was wearing some of your branded gear. I said, if I send you his picture, could you maybe tell me if you remember him being in the store or maybe he ordered online or whatever? And the guy, I sent him the stuff and the guy sent back and he was like, yeah, he was in early June. And I was like, ah, huh. So I started looking around the Treasure Island area and down in like the touristy areas
Yeah.
because I figured he'd probably try and blend in with tourists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the touristy areas is where I found the house. It was in the Treasure Island area, but he had already left that
Uh-huh.
house. He'd already left that house. He had moved to the house where they arrested him at. So I was just like a couple of days behind him at that point, right?
Oh, wow.
And then he went live one night. And of course, mind you, this entire time he's sitting there saying, at first he said that he didn't have a warrant for his arrest, okay? And then he was saying, "Oh, well, it's not like my attorney didn't take care of that already. It's not like she didn't already fix that." Well, apparently fucking not.
They
Um,
can.
right. And so one night and it was the night that he made a mistake.
Mm.
because he got up to get a phone charger. And I had seen a couple of, hold on, I have a hair in my mouth. Cats. Ah, okay. Um, I had seen like the shiplap roof, and what I thought was like one of those titty lights, the ones that look like a nipple.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was like one of those really cool fan lights, the ones that had like the fan inside the casing and everything. It was
Oh, okay.
super cool light. Anyway, I digress. And I saw from one of his videos that he had like uh a TV behind him, but I couldn't quite get like the placement of it, like the geo
Mm-hmm.
placement of it, right? And so he got up that night. It was the night that he got taken down. He got up that night while he was on live to get his phone charger because it was dying, and I got to see him walk through the house, and over his shoulder I could see stuff on the wall and everything, and he panned across this piece of art with like three boats. And my brain just like started spinning. I was like, I've seen that before. I've seen that
Uh,
in one of these Airbnbs before, right? And so I searched for probably, I don't know, 30 minutes, and I was like, screw it. Let's start from the beginning because I know I saw it early on. And so I started again right there in Largo, and then I expanded out, in a circle. And when I hit Clearwater and I saw the house and confirmed that those ships were the same, and then I literally went frame by frame in the live with each picture in the house
oh
and
wow.
matched it up part by part by part, right?
That's thorough.
Um,
Thorough.
thorough. You got to be thorough when you're doing
Thorough
subject
as
location,
fuck.
okay? Um, and so I matched it all up, and and I called Doc. And I'm just gonna tell you now, audio warning, you may want to open up your earbuds and your headsets a little bit because it was like 11 o'clock at night, and Doc answered the phone, and I go, and Doc was like, "What?"
No, I didn't have the phone up to my ear. It was sitting on my desk in speaker mode. Thank God.
Thank God, I would have busted an eardrum. Mind you, this whole time that he's on the run, Doc and I
Mhm.
are also running in tandem an investigation into the MCU because now it's starting to pick up steam, and people are like sharing, like members are sharing, like screen grabs of internal, member portals and things like that, giving us
Mhm.
access to see like what's really going on. That's how we learned about it being in the Amundi Fund. That's how we
Yep.
learned that they only voted one freaking time. What? You guys
Now
been
some
going
of
for
that
a
was
year and
from
a
the YouTube
half?
videos.
You
They
know.
were having YouTube meetings as well. So they would have YouTube lives where they had the people talk. And I think when they did the last one they did was in May when they stopped, and that was when we started getting really aggressive about what they were doing. And I think they were seeing that and they stopped having the meetings. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, keep going.
Oh, hey, General Gambit says, "Hey Doc, I hear you're in here too."
Hey, Gambit,
I'm
what's up?
I'm I'm catching up on the YouTube comments. Give me a second. Here's where I can comment. Yeah, Canva, you can't do it on the TikTok. If you're on the TikTok and you want to actually join in the conversation, then go to my bio and head on over to the YT. You'll find it in my links. That's where you can join in the chat. Let's see. Does that mean we are friends? Of course, Mike, we're always friends. Um, so during all of this, mind you, Doc and I are still investigating the MCU. We are making phone calls. I made a couple phone calls to the state's attorney's office just to ask some questions, kind of tell them what I'm finding. Just to, everybody wanted to say that I was just being crazy and wacky, and all of these phone calls were just to harass him. But when you do this stuff, especially when you're doing it in an area that has a lot of very intricate laws, you
Yeah.
call the people who prosecute it. You call the people who investigate it. You say, "Hey, this is what I'm finding. Is this against the law? Am I misinterpreting this? This looks really shady to me." You will
Mhm.
find a lot of times those people will talk to you. I spent over an hour on the phone with one of the state's attorneys down in Tampa. I emailed him while I was on the phone, showed him some of the stuff I found, and he was like, "Yeah, absolutely, this needs to be investigated. This
Oh
doesn't,
wow.
this isn't above par, right? It doesn't pass the sniff test." And so, everybody was like, "Oh, well, you were just trying to do this and that." No, I was making sure that I wasn't falsely accusing people of things. I was making sure that Doc and I were being honest and being correct in how we were processing this, right? So that we didn't get ourselves in trouble. That's why we were so confident when they sent those cease and desist. And I was like, do it. Sue me. Do it. You know?
Daring them.
Like,
Yes.
please, I cannot listen. I've had Discovery drafted for months. Come on.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Over an
because
hour though. That
Right. So
that
through all of this, and so when I called the police and let them know that I had located a wanted individual, okay, Doc, Doc and I sat on the phone and he kind of just like ran through the same stuff and confirmed, just double checked it for me. And he was like, yeah, this is the same place. And that's when we hit Google Earth and we hit the streets. We did some virtual walking around until we found a house because the Airbnb house had a picture of the exterior. And so we
ah
went and we started virtually walking the streets on Google Earth to find the house that matched because the house was a weird shape. It was
It
like a
was a
really
weird shape.
weird shape. And so we were struggling to like find it from up above. And then I was walking down one street and I think you were like what, one block over? And I was like, I found it, I found it, I found it. Come here.
And when you're so I'm looking at
Like
the
he
house,
could just
right?
go running down the Google Earth street like I'm coming, I'm coming.
Well,
that's hilarious.
so they had the fence and it had it sort of like reminded me of a rook, the chess piece at the top. And I was
Yeah.
looking at this and I was calling them juices because they also look like a juicer. And I went, that's the tree. Those are the juicers. And she had no idea what I was talking about. But I
I
did
didn't
send
have a
her.
clue, but I was looking at the same house. I was like, no, dude, just look at the garage. It's got the house
Yeah.
number on it.
And it
You
was,
know?
it, well, okay, keep going through because
And so I sat there and I really listened. I really wanted to give the people what they wanted because I was doing it for different reasons. I wasn't trying to give the left a win. I wasn't, it wasn't anything like that. But I did want, you know what? Listen, with all the shit he talked about me while he was on the run, I did want to give the people a show. I'm not going to lie.
Who
I
wouldn't?
waited after I confirmed the house. I waited a good, what, Doc, like 45 minutes? I talked to you for like 30 of it. And
you actually, sorry, you actually said you were going to wait, but you didn't wait as long as you said you were going to wait, which did not bother me at all.
well, and
So,
I was gonna wait because I thought maybe he went to the bar or something and he'll go live when he gets back home, or whatever, right? And so I was really kind of waiting for him to be live so that I
mhm.
could send the cops his live and be like, go up to the door, go, go up to the door while you're watching it on your phone. You'll hear yourself knock.
That would have been great.
Maybe then we would have actually gotten the video of him being tased instead of just the aftermath. Um,
I'm
I'm not
being.
laughing about him getting tased. I'm sure it hurt, but I am laughing about him getting tased because you know what, dude? You fucking ran from the cops. I don't know what to tell you. Um,
No, to that point, the all the video the footage is up at archive.org. And if you go through it, you'll see where they knock on the door. He says, "Who is it?" And they say it's the police, and he doesn't answer. And then I think that is at 12:54. And then exactly at 1 a.m. That's when we hear the screams. So they tased it almost at exactly 1 a.m.
Oh wow.
almost to the second.
Talk about a timestamp.
okay. I'm peeing. Okay, so I'm gonna offer those who have not seen the body cam footage. This is my dramatic interpretation of my reenactment. Okay, are you ready? I'm Joe. Hang on, let me take the glasses off because I'm Joe. With the beard on. Okay, here we go. Joe, okay. Here, here. Jesus Christ, I'm here. I'm peeing. I'm peeing. Oh, I'm peeing. Can't stop wetting myself. I'm so sorry. I'm still peeing. I'm peeing. I'm peeing. I'm still peeing. Still peeing. End scene.
Nailed it. Oh shit. I'm
Anyway,
big.
so it turns out that Joe was at the place that I located him at. It turns out, I was, sorry, I squirreled. So I waited because I wanted him to be live, and I gave it
Hey, Bunny,
like
one second. I need to run to the restroom. I'm gonna
oh,
mute
okay, you're
myself.
fine. No problem. Um, and so I gave it like another 15, 20 minutes, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, go live, dude, go live. And he didn't. And so I was like, screw it. So then I turned around and I called Pinellas County, and they were like, "Hey, you need to call Clearwater Police." And so I called Clearwater Police and I
Mhm.
explained to them that I believed I knew where a wanted individual was, and that he was, and I explained to them about him leaving his house and everything, and all of that stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then at the end of the call, after I explained everything to them, and they were like, "All right, well, we're gonna, send some cars over there." I was like, "Cool, just a heads up, he may be at the bar, so you may want to have your guys wait until after the bars close, right?" And so they did not wait for the bars to close. They went immediately, and they apparently went in force. I did not make any accusations of DV or anything like that. I just told them the facts. Believe it or not, the police will go when you're avoiding a warrant, especially when you have left your home for two
Mhm.
weeks and
Yeah.
you're claiming that you're still at your home and all of this. I mean, like, come on, let's, you know what? There's
He
it's
was on
okay to
the
be a criminal,
run.
don't be a stupid one,
Mhm.
right? Like, let's just at least be smart with what we're doing, okay, people? Um,
And he
and
wasn't.
so the last thing I asked the cop after I called in, he's like, "All right, well, we'll go ahead." And I said, "Can I ask one more favor?" And he goes, "What's that?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna lie to you. It's Patty." And I was like, "It's Patty." And, and he was like, "Lay it on me. I might be able to help." And I was like, "Cool, cool." I was like, "So, like after you guys do, like I don't want you to do it like while you're having to do like all of your little arresty stuff, right? But after those bracelets and everything, if you could just let him know that Bunny says hi." And the guy and the guy goes, "I assume you're Bunny?" I
I
I
hope he
have my
did it.
reasons. I have my
I hope he did.
reasons.
I hope he
They
did it.
didn't. Oh, no, they didn't. On all of the body cams, not once did we see
Oh
it. But somebody
damn!
did ask him how people knew that he was at the house, and he goes, "I don't know." Yes, you do.
It
You
was
knew I was
Bunny.
on your trail, sir. You knew I was on your trail. That's why you kept trying to say I was stupid and I was a Walmart shift manager. Wait, I
I
started
love
out
how
as a
you
Walmart
sniffed him out
greeter.
on Google Earth, though. Not.
Right. Oh yeah, listen. You can't hide anymore. That doesn't exist, okay? So anyway, so the good Mr. Redden gets yet another mugshot to add to his collection. And everybody and their dog starts like harassing me, and it turns into this thing. And then Joe comes out and he starts telling, absolutely ostentatious or just outrageous, I shouldn't say ostentatious, outrageous
Hmm.
lies, right? To deflect from the fact that he did what we were saying he did. And I still persisted with my questions about the MCU to the extent that I received a cease and desist, as did Doc. And I called and I spoke to the good Mr. What was his name?
Bullion.
Betty Oh yeah, Bullion. And oh, Mascarenas. It was Mr. Mascarenas. Bullion Mascarenas. Um and I had a lengthy conversation with him where
I had
we
a very
kind of
short conversation
ferreted.
with him.
Yeah, you were kind of mean to him, Doc. You were kind of mean.
I wasn't
Um,
mean. I was just loud.
fair. You've got that booming voice though. And so I had a lengthy conversation with him on the heels of Doc talking to him. I was like, and I told him, I was like, yeah, Doc's pretty upset. I didn't apologize. I was like, Doc's pretty upset.
But it was not because there was a reason I was upset. But you go ahead
Right.
and finish telling.
And so the guy was like, "Well, in candor, I have to tell you, we're answering a subpoena." That's all I needed to hear. I took everything down until that subpoena came in because what else can I do while I wait for them to investigate? That's exactly what we wanted them to do, was to investigate it, right? So we got to wait until
Yep.
the investigation's done. And now I
That's
got to
why we
wait for
took
my
our shit
FOIA
down.
request to come through. Because my FOIA request is there for me to find out what they really have, because we know that Joe is all over the internet saying that they are dissolving because they couldn't raise the $5 million, which is in direct contravention to their own published statement. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, dude, at least read the freaking document. Come that if you don't understand it, you can put it into Chat GPT and ask Chat GPT to break it down by paragraph for you. Like, if that's where the confusion is, there's AI to help, my guy. At
Oh
least,
wow.
like, don't contradict yourself with easily verifiable information. Now we're in a place where we are waiting to find out, and I'm waiting to see if a consent order is filed. And Doc, what did we say was a rough estimate of how much the people might lose from their $500 investment? Was it like
Well, with all the
two,
my
three
guess,
hundred?
this is semantics probably has a better guess, but between almost half. So they'll be lucky to get 25 to 250 to 300 back. Plus, there's 800, 8,000, 822,000 that's in the wind.
Right. The question is, where is that money? And I'm
Yeah,
hoping that that is answered with the FOIA request, because they said that they set it aside for operational costs. They
which
had
they
no
didn't
brick and mortar.
have.
Right. They had no brick and mortar locations. They were renting their server space, you know. They maybe they paid for phones. They were obviously paying the founders something, as
There was
management.
another person contacted me and say you have to register with, and oh, I can't remember what it was. I have to look at the video, but something about insurance, employee insurance, and they never
Oh, well,
registered with
see,
that either.
I don't think that they would qualify for that, because you only have to do that if you have more than a certain number of employees,
Yeah.
and half of their staff was volunteers. So,
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm looking at their documents because I'm trying to figure out something. But keep going.
so quite a few of quite a few of the people that were shown on the website, um I believe, were not being paid. I think they were volunteering to
I thought
pad
they all were. Yeah.
their resume.
Hmm.
Um but you still have the executive leadership team. Those people were probably getting paid.
According to the bylaws, they were. That was what the
Right.
25% was.
So the real
I mean,
question is, how much were they getting paid? That's the real question. I'm not looking for tax documents or anything like that in the FOIA request, but I am looking for like the final investigative report and analysis and everything.
one of the things, if I'm looking at their bylaws right now, but one of the things was Joe did one of the videos saying if you read the bylaws, it says they take 25% for operating expenses. And I'm looking at and when I went to the bylaws, I don't recall seeing that. Um, but I'll run it
The
through ChatGPT again.
25% for
So
operating expenses?
yeah,
Yeah, it was in there.
and salaries, and salaries.
It was
Okay,
in there.
don't worry about
They just didn't list out exactly how much they were paying people was the problem. You know what I'm saying?
that. Yeah, and Joe would also say other weird stuff like I'm a 20% owner of the MCU co-op.
Right, which is a contradiction in the premise behind it as well, because if it's a co-op, it's owned by everybody.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the end result is now we have a situation where and Joe, if you're watching, I want to make sure that I fill you in on one other thing, since I doubt you're consulting an attorney in all of this, just because. And if you did, if you did in fact leave the MCU in December of 2024, and you're now thinking that you're not going to be held liable for any of it, I just wanted to let you know that you are still liable. They
Hmm.
will still go and get you, because they're going to look at everybody who was involved at the time that the unlawful activity was taking place. And all of this took place while you were still part of the executive management team and the
Hmm.
ownership. So you have fun with that.
Good luck.
Good luck. Doc, tell us about your part of the wild ride.
mine was not nearly as dramatic as yours. So I went on a couple of Joe's live, and I'm going to put the video back up. And I was saying, "How are you a co-op?" Well, my primary thing was saying, I don't know who found. I think was it you or me that figured out they weren't in good standing. They hadn't filed their tax stuff for the properties, and so they weren't in good standing, and they were not. They could not legally operate in Maryland. Was that you that figured that out, or was that me?
Um, I think we both kind of figured it out at the same time.
Yeah. And I'm looking at their articles of incorporation. They registered as a 501c3 charity. And now we were both doing this at the same time. We were looking at the IRS registration and the SEC registration, and that's when I learned a lot about SEC and IRS registration of ProPublica to see if they'd registered anywhere as a charity, and the Edgar database for the SEC, and we couldn't find anything. They didn't file. It didn't look like they filed anything. So I would go on. I went on Joe's live, and he said, "What do you want to talk about?" And I typed in securities fraud, and he brought me up. And he asked what was the way he said like how are you a co-op when you're registered as a 501c3 but your bylaws say that you're a 501c12. He said we're not a 501c3, we're not a 501c12. Let me tell you before you accuse me of anything.
Oh
And
my God, he's
he
practically frothing at the mouth.
yeah,
It
and
was,
then he started screaming at me. It's going, we're a middle united co-op. It literally says that fucking co-op, like that. And you can scream it all you want. That doesn't make it true. If you register as a 501c3, you have to function as one. And they were
Hmm.
not doing that. You don't typically take $3.2 million from people and put it into an Monday fund. Now, when we were part of this process in this live or some of his videos, I would scrutinize all of his live, and I would put these videos up, and people would say, "You need to get a hobby," and I'm thinking, "This is my hobby." So, I'm
right. Like, I do this after my job, okay?
this is. I mean, for me, like I was just doing this because it was fun. It was like playing a real life game of Clue. And I lost my train of thought. Let me see the 501c3 stuff. I forget what I was looking up at the time, but crap. Now, what
I
was I
think you were
talking about
looking
before?
at the difference between 501c3 and 501c12.
Yeah, and he was screaming about that, and I can't remember because of whatever I was talking about. So that was one of the things, and that's when we started looking that if people, because they were only registered in Maryland to do this, and they were selling these memberships across state lines, and they had to also be registered in the United States. So that was the other thing. Oh, I
Right. Do
remember
you
what it was
remember
now.
the 2 days I spent looking at every single state to see if they were registered there?
Yeah, the thing that I remember was he was saying, all right, so he said something about people thinking that he stole money, and that was I never said that not once that he was stealing money. My thing was I didn't think I thought everyone involved in NCU co-op was incompetent. That was my thing.
Right.
And
I was the one that was wondering where the money was.
yeah,
I don't think I ever
and
accused him of stealing the money either. I was like, are you swindling them out of it? Like, where's the money, Joe?
yeah. So he does the thing where he says, this is what you do. You log in and you can see, we have $2.4 million in the Monday fund. And he says, if you read the bylaws, that they take 25%. And my issue was they should have put that somewhere more prominent about what they do with the $500. They did not do that on the website. But essentially 75%, so 325, is that right? Something 375 goes into the MCU co-op and they take 25% off the top for whatever reason. So you're not actually investing
Right.
$500,
You're
you're
down
investing three.
$125 from the start.
Yeah, from the start. And so he says this is where if you log in, you'll see 22.4 million dollars in the money fund, and that updates twice a day in real time. And updating twice a day is not real time. And then I went and looked at what in the Monday fund what the tracking looks like, and then I did some research, and they don't have to offer a public API. So the 2.4 million they're showing is not an actual live update of how much is in that Monday fund. If it were, you would see incremental changes, not $2.4 million. And we're not seeing that. So that was the other thing. Um,
Right.
I
And you
believe that they
also were the
fabricated.
one to discover that they couldn't have that directly tied in for the updates like that, like he said that they were doing.
And then I went into one of his other lives, and this is the last thing, and he doxed me. He told everybody where I worked, what town I lived in, my government name, and that is when he said, you're not going to come after me as somebody who does multiple things because you failed at what you wanted to do in life. You
Right. So you
because
work a 9 to 5. I remember that.
yeah, working 9 to 5. He said we were working 9 to 5, and I'm succeeding. Now,
How
then
successful
nine
are you
days,
now, Joe?
then 9 days later, he was tased in Florida. And then I had to do the video after that. I said, I don't think getting tased in Clearwater and losing control of your bladder is really a hallmark of success.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I just that was and then when the FOIA request was put in for the body cam footage, just so that all of you know that all the body cam footage that you've ever all the videos of Joe getting tased, that's from me. Every that I bought that the $124 to buy the body cam footage, put it up at archive.org. You're welcome, internet. That was that was
It's
me.
free for anybody who wants it. They can reach out to Doc and
Yeah.
he'll send them the
Joe
link.
was on a live saying that he was going to sell the footage. And I said, well, no, I'm not. That's not going to happen. So I
Mm.
gave it away
They
for free.
accused me of selling it too.
Best $124 I've ever spent.
Free. It's free. If you want to see it, it's free. You can go download it. You can put it on those police ones. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
There is one other thing I want to say. So we talked about getting the cease and desist. She got one, and I got one. And Joe went on did a video saying that I was hiding from a process server, that I actually encountered one, and he said that I said I'm not accepting anything. Don't come back. And I never encountered a process server once. And then they put that in the MCU documents saying that. And that's when I called Mr. Bullion and had a very short conversation because he
Very
hung up
short.
on me. Yeah, it was really short. You know, I can't actually use the volume because it will knock the volume out when I do that. And then Bunny talked to him, and then within a day or 2 days, that letter was gone. But the one saying that Joe was no
It's no
longer
longer
trusting
part of
to
the
the
MCU.
yeah, that one is still there. So apparently they were more enthusiastic about Joe talking than us. Joe not talking to us. The thing is, he the the whole I don't understand how that whole process server came about. Like the process server lied. because she come and I
Or
knew it
they
was coming.
lied. Or they
Yeah, the
lied.
process. Well, I think you talked to the lawyer, didn't you? And he said that
That they
I
really
thought
did send he was adamant that they had sent a process server out to your house. And I even told him in the call, I said, I have to be honest with you, Doc doesn't strike me as the type of person that would lie about that. We have been chomping at the bit for you to file something against us so that we could file discovery.
yeah, exactly. And and again, he and then Joe said on the thing that they sent me an email. They sent the process server. They sent me a by mail, and he said they also informed me they had sent it by mail or email. And I'm like, what was this for? Way they notified me? I think maybe they hired a skywriter. I don't know, but that none of that made any sense.
I remember you
But
were on a live with me whenever you found it. It was sent to an email that you practically never check anymore.
yeah, it was my .Mac account, and then and like, oh, here it is. And apparently it was 8 days after I was supposed to comply
Have
with
been served, right?
yeah, something
Right.
like that.
And I called you the day that they served me, like, I didn't even have a problem. She walked up, she goes, "I have papers for blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yep." And I took them because I wanted to see what they said. I wasn't the least bit worried about your cease and desist there, MCU, Joe, whoever wants. I wasn't concerned with it because once I started reading it, I was like, there's no way. There's no way this would stand up in court. Like, you picked the wrong one. They kept wanting to say that I didn't work in the legal field, but then whenever I called and spoke to the attorney, and like I said, I spent a good long while, and I was like, "Look, this is what I do. This is what I know, and I know you don't have a case, but as a courtesy to you, until you guys finish, up with the subpoena, because that's my goal is to find out what's going on with the MCU. So I'm getting what I want in the fact that they're investigating to see if there's something, hinky here. Why on earth would I continue to egg it on without knowing what's going on? Everybody was like, "Oh, well, show us the fucking investigation. Show us this, show us that." I was like, "It doesn't work that way. You have to be patient. This stuff takes a long time."
It does.
Hey,
And it
Bunny,
did.
real
It
quick.
took them what?
I'd have to look. But I just ran the bylaws through ChatGPT, and they do not actually mention specifying $25 or any other percentage of members' funds will be used for operations or salaries.
Hey, Strike Foil. Yeah, we're definitely getting your messages. I just heard a cha-ching. What was that?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, there was just a cha-ching somewhere. I don't know what that was.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I think I got a gift on the TikTok. Thank you guys so much
Oh,
for the
hey,
gift.
yay.
Yay!
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Woo!
Woohoo! Y'all are awesome. Um, well, and then let's not forget that Joe has been crashing out lately. We saw those videos come across of him passed out drunk at like 5 o'clock in the morning, talking to himself in his sleep. Like, you
Ooh.
know, I went through a lot when he went to jail. All of the MAGA creators came out and were screaming that I'm a horrible person. But, with looking at what he's going through right now, I'm apparently his best friend because none of y'all have done anything to help him. I, at least by getting him to answer for that warrant, put him in a place where he could, one, sober up, and two, get some help at no cost to him. He
That's
decided
true.
not to do that because he's too deep in his addiction and he's not ready for help yet. There's nothing I can do about that. But you know what? You guys call him your friend. You call
Mm-hmm.
him your pal, your buddy. Well, you know what? If he's truly your friend, you have a duty to help your friend. He is obviously going through some shit where he can't control himself, where he can't get himself help. That's why they have interventions. Go get your friend some freaking help. If he were my friend, I would be getting him help.
Yeah,
Like,
me
what
Or
the
me too.
fuck?
Yep. Yep. Sounds right.
devil's advocate, Joe could just try to be more likable.
He could try to be a more likable person, but I don't think the alcohol is going to allow him to do that because unfortunately, the alcohol allows his true personality to come out, and his true personality is very
Is
abrasive.
a dick.
Mm.
He's just he operates with a mindset that he's owed something, and he doesn't really he's not owed anything. My
Oh, he
I'm
has a chip
swimming
on
in
his
two hundred
shoulder.
thousand dollars worth of medical bills as a result of partially of the shit that happened. You
Mm.
don't see me on here every night saying, please send me money. You don't see me begging, you
At
know. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm calling people to get help. I'm occasionally somebody will send me something through my Cash App or my Venmo, and they'll say, I just want to help you out. And I'm so appreciative of that because they don't realize that's what's buying my daughter's medications. That's what's making sure I have milk in the house for her. And so I do appreciate those moments, but you're not going to see me on here begging for help. I'm not going to go live every single day praying that people give me gifts. I'm super appreciative when they do, but that's
Mm-hmm.
something that, you're going to do it if you feel called to do it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You're going to do it if you feel called to do it. And, people are like, I don't know how you can still come on the internet after everything he put you through. I don't know how you are an incredibly strong person. And people don't realize, like, you're not given a choice in those moments. That's my daughter. That's my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not given a choice to not be strong
That's
because
right.
she's not strong right now. I have to be strong. That's the only choice I have. I can grieve later. I can deal with it later. My daughter, she's upset, over the loss of her pinky. She's upset over the scar. She's upset over. I can't sit here and, cry over it because I have to be strong for her. Sitting in that hospital or in that doctor's office whenever they took the bandages off for the first time, and I
Yeah.
saw my daughter's face lose every single ounce of animation, like the most blank look I've ever seen in my entire life on a little kid, just staring at her hand. And I'm looking at her hand and I just want to break down. I just want to
Yeah.
bawl my eyes out because that's my baby. And now, she's not the same, and it doesn't change the way I feel about her. I still love her, to the ends of the earth. I would still, die for her, and I'd end a life for her if that's what I had to do. That's my baby.
Yeah.
But in those moments when I wanted to break down and cry and hurt for her, I had to be strong. I had to hold her and I had to say, it's going to be okay. It's good. You know what? It's going to be okay. People who don't like it, they're not meant to be around you. You
Yeah.
know, people who can't handle it, people who make fun of you, then they're not meant to be around you. As a parent, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's what we have to do. And it's wild to me because I still to this day get comments on my videos of, oh, CPS came and took your daughter. No, no, they did. She was the only time she was out of my house is when she had to be in the hospital. That's it. That baby stayed
Yeah.
with me. That
And she's
baby
still
will
there.
always stay with me.
Yep.
Like, y'all can say what you want, but I walked into a court of law and got them to give me sole rights to my baby from a man who had no criminal record, had no history of any sort of addiction or mental health issues or anything else. They turned
You
my life
handled
upside
business.
down. Right.
Uh-huh.
I stood 10 toes down and I did
Yep.
what I had to do as a parent. And I showed that court that I am the parent that can take care of every single one of her needs. And to this day, I still take care of every single one of her needs. People do not know my daughter. They do not know our story. They don't
Yeah.
know how sick she was as a baby. They don't know that the first 2 years of her life, most of my camera roll is filled up with her being in the hospital, her being hooked up to tubes, her getting shots, her on treatments, her going
Mm.
to therapy.
Wow.
Like, I have a kid who was actively trying to leave this earth, and I was like, absolutely not. You think I'm going to let y'all take her from me now? After I went through a hell no.
Right.
Try
Right.
again. I
Being a mom
don't know
is
what
real
you're
hard.
thinking.
Mm. It's
Tell me about it.
Oh, Mike says I'm a queen. Charles says, Bunny, you are a rock. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. We do what you know what? Listen, you will hear this from me. Doc has heard it from me before. I will say this to people all the time. It's hard, but we persevere.
Mm-hmm. We
Pick
have to.
ourselves up, not by our bootstraps, because you know what? Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to get up and do it. But we pick
Mm-hmm.
ourselves up and we go do what we need to do to make sure that everything that needs to happen gets done. Like when when they came through and they were like, "We got questions." I was like, "Baby, I got questions too. Where the hell were y'all for 2
Yeah.
years? Why were y'all not here helping?" Like I begged you to. Where the hell were y'all whenever she got assaulted at school twice? Like where the fuck were y'all? Like
Yeah,
I'm not the parent that listen, I can promise you I'm not the parent. You can ask any person that deals with her. They don't like to see me coming down the halls because if I'm coming down the halls, then they screwed up.
right.
I advocate hard for my kid. You listen, if nothing else, my daughter is going to learn that you fight and
Mm,
you don't stop fighting until you do what they want. The superintendent will probably never forget the day I looked at him and I said, "We got two choices here. We can do this my way, and I can be respectful of your red tape and your bureaucracy, or we're just going to do it my way."
right.
That's the only two options here. I waited for that man in the parking lot one day. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like, if there is ever a lesson to be learned, don't play with me.
I wouldn't. I'm
All right,
just
guys.
saying.
You know what? I would give you a chance to apologize. I really
Uh,
would.
mhm.
Don't mess with Doc either, because you know what? Doc is a lot quieter than I am, and that should worry people. Okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Don't
mess
play
with
with Doc.
him. Mm-mm.
Don't mess with Doc. Doc will do it with a snazzy comeback and a coffee cup in his hand.
Yeah,
Okay?
I don't want a Doc Reed. I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Or I'll build a website telling about how you lied about everything in your 2020 presidential campaign.
Oh, and to anybody who invested in the MCU, Doc, if I'm not mistaken, MCU fraud report is still active, is it not?
Let me see. I never took it down.
Okay, then it should still be up. MCU Fraud Report is is a resource for anybody who believes that they have been defrauded by a company. That website houses the contact information for every single state for your attorney general's office, and all of that. It also houses information to make federal reports, but specifically to the people who invested in the MCU. If you do not get your money back, that website will be a great resource for you to file a complaint in your local state. You can also file a complaint with Maryland. Thank you so much for the gifts on TikTok, guys. Y'all are awesome. Tony, thank you. Um, you can also file your report with Maryland since they are the home base OAG's office. And you can file, of course, your IC3 complaints for the federal government. All of those links are housed on that website. Um, and as an aside, this is not legal advice, but if enough of you want to get together, it only takes 25 to form a class and you stand to get a better settlement if you go as a class because in cases where there is securities violations or some sort of investment scheme, even though they are incorporated, you can go after their personal assets.
That was
So
we had
there's
two
a fun
websites
little
up.
fact for you.
We had two websites. NCU Fraud Report was one. The other one was where I mocked up the
Yeah, I
the
would really like
MC.
to see that one come back up and just publish their statement.
That one I put instead of what the copy they had, I put the text we cannot legally operate in the state of Maryland. That one we did take down, but this one never went down, even though we got that was mentioned in the subpoena that we had to take it down, but we did because they did
Charles
not have
said,
any legal grounds to do
"Hey,
that.
Doc." Charles said, "Let me guess, you quote called the cops 10,786 times." End quote. No, Charles, it was
That's on the low end.
11,922 times. Oh my God.
Close.
Don't undercut me.
Yeah, you were almost there.
And then we called your mom.
Almost. And then and the crazy thing is I didn't speak to anybody in his family. I did have a text exchange, a DM exchange with his now ex-fiance. And that's
There's
the
no
only
cat here.
person from his family life that I talk to. I I don't know how his ex-wife came into the mix or something because I didn't even publish anything about his divorce. Like I literally stuck to just the most recent DUI. Um, oh, thank you for the monsters, Charles. And the judge 400 times right. Let's not forget that judge. Um, but you know, I'm not really sure how his he kept talking about it, and the only thing I really talked about was the original, or was the second DUI, right? Because that's the one that had the warrant. I didn't even talk about the first DUI or anything like that. I didn't talk about all of his tickets and all of that, or his divorce or
I,
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
there
so
is
like I was really confused because he went on like a live or a video or something. He was talking about, yeah, she called my ex-wife. Who?
What?
Who? Why would I call your
there,
ex-wife when I could just pull down your divorce papers, guy? Like, who the fuck wants to
everything.
talk to your ex-wife? She's probably not gonna have anything genuine to say about you anyway. She's your ex.
There's another creator on here when this is recently when he passed out during his live. It's JD, I think Delay or something like that. He's a big
Uh-huh.
guy. He's got a bunch of prison tats and stuff. He's done time. And he said that his the older millennial daughter has been concerned about or said something about it. Has been talking about his drinking or something like that.
Joe's older daughter?
But I don't know. He said his daughter. I haven't heard anything about that.
The only daughter I heard about was the baby. That
Hmm.
would only be a few years old now.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Maybe
That's
a new
crazy.
mystery.
Anyway, I don't
That's-
know. Maybe the person's not actually his
See,
daughter.
y'all, if I was truly obsessed with Joe, I would have spoken to his baby mama.
No, literally everything out of his mouth is a lie. Everything. Except maybe
Oh.
his name. If he says his name. I think no, the other thing
Well,
is
we've
if he
already
likes
confirmed.
drinking. When he
We've
says he
already
likes
confirmed his
drinking,
name
that's
is.
good.
Oh, let's see.
And that his dog's name is Lolly.
Was the dog's name Lolly? I thought
Yeah.
it was Lucy.
Oh, I thought it was Lolly.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm waiting on my FOIA request. We'll see what comes out
Now,
of that from the
can you
Maryland
can you explain
investigation.
what we can expect from the FOIA request or what it is actually?
I do not know what we can expect. I can tell you what I have requested. So I entered a Freedom of Information Act directed at the Securities Division of the OAG Office for Maryland. I'm waiting on confirmation that they have received it, and then I expect it to be anywhere from 10 to 20 days for them to fulfill the request. I specifically requested any and all documents that can be released, including financial records, um, corporate governance records, which would be like their updated bylaws, all of that stuff. Um, any investigative analysis and or reports, any financial reports, any affidavits signed by the individuals, any other type of sworn statement. And then I asked them for any transcripts or videos of interviews that or audio recordings of interviews that they conducted.
Don't fuck with Bunny. I'm just
Don't fuck with
saying.
me.
Yeah, don't fuck.
I've listen. I've done more than one non-party request for production. I know what the fuck to ask for.
She was like, I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Like I listed it out. Tell me how much it costs. What do I need to send you?
Hey,
I'm looking for any information you may have that tells me how much they were paying themselves, how much of that nearly $800,000 is left, if the other money was really in an Amundi fund, how much money they really collected, if it was really 3.2 million. Um like I'm looking for I want to see it all. Show it all to me
specifics. We want it
with
all.
specificity.
Yes.
So
Wow.
and I will be sharing that information with Doc when it comes in because I know that he has his own followers. Let's see. Wait, what was this? Are we sure it's Lolly? Oh, about the dog. Dog on a rug.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued over the dog's name.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued over defamation for the dog. Um, but we are going to, oh, hey, Mr. Pruitt. I see you in the TikTok. If you want to join the chat, you can come on over to the YT. Um, But, it's I am hoping to uncover and answer the rest of the questions that I had. They will not send me any information on like any members or anything like that. They're not going to divulge anything that's considered PHI or not PHI, PII. Um, they're not going to send me anything that has like tax records and stuff like that, mainly because I'm not going to secure an authorization for release of those records from their attorney. I'd rather just ask Maryland to send me what they can send me,
Mm-hmm.
corporate filings, things like that. And then I'm hoping that through that we can either piece the missing pieces together, or we'll get just like straight information on how much they were paying themselves. There was a rumor, just a rumor, guys, this is alleged,
Mm-hmm.
that a large loan was made to somebody within the MCU. I don't know if that was Joe or another person or what. I know that if you go back and watch my story on Jeffrey Jacobs, you'll see that he purchased a very large house, but you have to keep in mind that he does run his own personal airline service, uh, private fleet service.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no telling how much money he does actually make. He could have paid for that through his little airline or whatever,
Yeah.
his little air chauffeur thing. Um, what's more concerning on Jeffrey Jacobs is the fact that he is in fact still the mayor of Pembroke Park. And I feel like the citizens of Pembroke Park should be aware of that,
Yeah.
you know,
Uh,
being caught up in something like this. So, but we are about 30 minutes over our end time. It's a good thing that I always, pad us a little bit because we just can never stop talking. Thank you so much to Doc for joining us tonight. I had to twist his arm. He's not a fan of going on lives and podcasts. So, I did have to give him the puppy dog eyes and beg. So thank you so much for bending to my will. I appreciate you for that.
yes.
And joining us
No
tonight. It's
problem.
always insightful. And I'd like to take just a second while we have people watching for you to go ahead and give us a quick plug for Underground History.
Oh, me to do it. Oh, yeah. So I've got a website called undergroundhistory.com, and it's mostly stuff that they don't teach you in school. The Great Dying of 1493, the Tulsa Race Massacre, and I'm adding stuff every day. So the Red Summer of 1919, doing a couple of them on the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's one on Sudan because they've been in the news a lot lately. So you can go to World Watch One, and if you scroll down past the map, there's some information on Sudan and on how stuff works. So the health industry, the healthcare industry in America, why does it cost so much? I broke it up into three sections: the pharmaceutical, the insurance, and the delivery. That would be hospitals, doctors, and lawyers. And there's an audio overview for all of that. If you want to find about more about those things, APAC, that's another one. So yeah, just go there if you want to learn more stuff. And yeah, that's
And
it.
he does a very brilliant job. It is a very friendly interface. I have been over there myself and have enjoyed it. If you are just looking for the more salty stuff, he did recently do one on J.R. Majewski, or as J.R. says, it's supposed to be pronounced is Mayuski.
Nobody
And
cares.
nobody cares. It's Majewski. And so you can go check out that story. It's undergroundhistory.com. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us. And I'm sure that we will reconvene once that FOIA request comes through and we
I can't
have
wait.
a more, I can't either, a more complete picture of MCU and their forced dissolution. Just a heads up for everybody, the Maryland Secretary or the Maryland Securities Division is overseeing that dissolution and refund process. So it's not something that they are doing voluntarily in the truly voluntarily sense. They were told that they had to dissolve. And so they are doing it instead of fighting it out in court. We do not know if there are going to be criminal charges coming out of this. I guess it really depends on what the state wants to do. Again, we'll know more when the FOIA request comes through. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please join me tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for Saturday Shit Show. And we will see you again next Friday for Friday Fuckery. Aaron, we missed you so much. We can't wait for you to be back.
Come on back,
Everybody,
boy.
everybody have a good night, and remember to only steal a few pieces of your favorite candy from your kids' baskets, okay?
Mm-hmm. Just a
Thank
few. Don't be greedy.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.